So on Jim Baker's show, he's a televangelist for those of you who don't know. Um, he had a gentleman on there named Sundar Selvaraj, and he is making the point that Trump was elected president to cleanse the nation of all of this filth. I have a clip for you. Check it out, and I'll have plenty to say about it afterwards.
And that is why I believe now God has brought Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump will do like what the king of Nineveh did. He will sit in sackcloth and ashes because he is God's man to stand in the gap for this nation.
Wow. Wow.
Half of America wants to kill him.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
That is why it is very, very important for all the Christians to pray for Mr. Trump.
Why did God choose Donald Trump? I asked you that question before.
You know, we all have issues with our life. We all have shortcomings.
Yeah.
We all have either big mouth or small mouth.
Right. That's right. It's good.
So does Mr. Trump.
Sure.
You know, you made a very good statement earlier. He's not an actor. How he was before he became the president, that's how he is right now.
That's right.
He's the real stuff.
Right. That's it.
So besides that,
It's just him. He's just who he is. Right.
besides that, I believe he's a God-fearing man. And for that reason, God has chosen him to stand as the king of the nation. And because of his God-fearingness, he becomes now a doorway for God and the angels to come through into this nation for one purpose, to cleanse this nation of all the filth, of all the mess,
Wow.
so that
Amen.
God can pour out his spirit, his last days powers of the age to come upon this nation, so that this nation will once again become a God nation.
Yes. Amen.
They're trying to get the president. We have a hunting program going on to destroy the president of the United States, and no one is stopping it.
Lord have mercy.
The very person God has given to our nation to save our country is being hunted to be destroyed.
Yeah, so, first of all, Jim Baker says that 50% of the United States wants to kill Donald Trump. You're a Christian fundamentalist, so I'm pretty sure you don't mean that metaphorically or, hyperbolic. I don't think it's anything like that. I think you literally think people want to see Donald Trump dead. I'm sure there's a certain percentage of the country that would like to see that, as with any president. However, to say that 50% of the country wants to literally kill the man, I don't like Trump, but I'm not going to shoot him if I see him. You know what I mean? I don't think most liberals or progressives would, and I'm assuming that's the 50% of the country that you're talking about. We're not the violent side of the country. Yes, every group has their violent outliers, of course. But if you want to look at terrorism statistics, for example, way more right-wing groups are committing violence. If you want to look at Charlottesville, who got killed, it was one of the left-wingers. It definitely wasn't one of the right-wingers. There's anecdotes all over the place that we could go over, and there's actual statistics, but that's not really what I'm here to discuss. What I'm here to discuss is the fact that Mr. Selvaraj said that Donald Trump is here to cleanse the nation of its filth. He says he's the real deal, and he said, that he's honest. Okay. So, you can't say that because going over all of his policies, he literally was on both sides of every issue. When it came to healthcare, he said he wanted to completely dismantle Obamacare, basically put it back in the private market, which is what he's been trying to do since he's been president. He also stated that he believes in single-payer healthcare several times. So you can't be on both sides of that issue. Either you believe in the private free market system or you believe in single-payer. You definitely can't believe both. Obamacare is essentially trying to mix both, and we see that doesn't work either. So, when it comes to war, he said, we need to bring back our military, stop spending all this money on these stupid wars. We need to be rebuilding our infrastructure, spending that money here, bringing jobs back. But then you see what he's done. Dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan, has increased drone strikes by 400%, antagonizing North Korea, trying to start, a nuclear possible war over there. So that list goes on and on as well. So for you to say that he's honest is just blatantly untrue. Even by his own standards, he's not honest. He said he believed in bringing all the jobs back to America, yet he outsources his own jobs. He has businesses in at least 4 or 5 different countries. I want to say the list is as high as 11, but I don't have that number in front of me. But definitely multiple other countries: Mexico, China, Turkey. He has businesses in all these places. He registered 16 new businesses in Saudi Arabia during the primary. So, as far as him being an honest actor, that's just patently untrue. Cleanse the nation of all this filth. So, if you want to talk about, the sexual harassment allegations, I would consider that filthy. Al Franken just resigned. Trent Franks just resigned. A different guy just killed himself, actually, a Republican representative. He just killed himself. He committed suicide. He blamed it on PTSD, but it happened to be right after these allegations about him came out. So, if you're talking about that filth, Donald Trump participated in it. He said he kisses women without permission. He doesn't even wait. He grabs them by the pussy. We've all heard that. And then there were multiple allegations that came out. I believe the number is as high as 19 as of today. Today's December 14th. The number's as high as 14, from what I understand. 19. 19 allegations. Your ex-wife in court said that you raped her. Multiple women have come up saying, yeah, he kissed me without any warning, and he started grabbing my private parts. So, how is he cleansing the filth if he's participating in it? If you're talking about dirty language, because, you're religious, and I'm sure that cursing is something that you don't agree with, just listen to his campaign rhetoric. I'm going to bomb the hell out of him, beat the shit out of that guy. Just ridiculous rhetoric. I don't care too much about that just because I curse and we're all adults and whatever. But, for the Christians, you guys, that means something to you guys. So, what's the Bible scripture say? Cursing and praise cannot come from the same tongue. So you say he's a God-fearing man. When he went to the Christian university when he was on the campaign trail, and he was like, isn't this the scripture you guys like? It was like 2 Corinthians or whatever, instead of saying 2 Corinthians, which is what everybody who actually knows the Bible would read it to and understand it that way. But no, he didn't know what he was talking about. And so essentially every point that you've made is just obviously wrong. And if you want to say that you like Donald Trump because you don't like liberals, okay, I disagree with you, but okay, at least that's a position that somewhat makes sense. But when you try to defend the guy's policies and say that he's God-fearing and that he's a Christian and he's a truth teller, it's just false, 100% false. And it's just really sad to see so many people that actually fall for these charades with all the information that's out there. the internet exists. Today they're deciding on net neutrality, so it may not exist in the same way that we're used to it existing for very much longer. But as of right now, it still exists, and it's just, there's so much information out there. We have so much history, so much recorded history that's documented, and for some reason, people still get duped over by things that have been proven not to work, ideas that never lead us in a good direction, ideas that bankrupt our country, ideas that render 50% of the population making less than $30,000. 70% of people live paycheck to paycheck. 60% of people cannot afford a $700 emergency. These are all things that the policies that Donald Trump wants to implement have shown us. These things don't work, but yet people still fall for it. I don't understand. Even the white evangelicals have stopped supporting him as much. Like, I think there was a 17-point drop in his support amongst white evangelicals, and they were the last ones that were holding on. So, some of you guys are starting to see it, but people like Jim Baker, people like Sundar Selvaraj, apparently they're too blind to realize.